Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is me, Shares Cameraman, and today we're going to be talking about Spider-Man Legacy. So this is a fan film. I think I reviewed the official trailer for months ago at this point. It's been a while. And I've been planning to do a full review on this for a very long time. This came out like 3 months ago. I am very behind on this, but they did submit it through Fan Film Finder, which is a Google form which you can fill out now, which is basically submit the form and I will review that fan film. A lot of fan films that I've been reviewing lately are from that, so I suggest you check that out. But yeah, I've been waiting to review this thing. I just haven't gotten around to it, and I got submitted through the form, so I thought, why not review it? And I definitely have thoughts on it. I wouldn't say I have so much. Like, I'll say I have less thoughts than I thought I was going to. I feel like my reviews have definitely gotten shorter lately. I'm hoping to hopefully start getting those reviews back up to those old lengths, like the 10-15 minute lengths again. But I'm just not at that point yet. So the shorter videos might come back into play, but hopefully they'll get longer again. Yeah, let's talk about this thing. I very much enjoyed this film, this fan film. I'll say it wasn't perfect. I think it presented some interesting ideas, but I would not say it was perfect. I think there were definitely issues. I'd say I've seen 4 fan films today. This is my 4th video I've recorded today. Like, I've been very much, my, day has basically been fan films. So, this is very much another, this is, compared to some of the ones I've seen today, this has definitely been lower. But I've also seen some very good fan films today. I want to make that clear. But I feel like there's definitely issues with this. And I feel like it's a trend I've been noticing with some of these shorter fan films. I noticed this with Spider-Man Morales. I noticed this with Green Lantern. Yeah, I've noticed this with a lot of shorter fan films. That they do this thing where they have, this 10-15 minute thing. And then, it's like, I'm going to do what they couldn't do. And it's going to end on a cliffhanger like it's in episode 1. Like it's a part 1 or something. And this was, the first act. And I think that's a very weird way to structure it. Because I think if you're doing a short film, you should tell a full story. And I don't feel like this did that. This was very awkwardly paced. At the 3-minute mark, very little happened. And then the amount that happened up to the end is pretty crazy. But I actually did like some things. I thought the idea of Miles Morales killing people was actually very interesting. It definitely kind of shocked me at first, but once I was like, oh, that's actually very interesting. That's a very interesting idea. And then, also, I'm just going to skip to the end. When Miles is talking to Peter's grave, I thought that was a very interesting way to end it. But him being like, I'll do what you couldn't do, I'll kill the villains or something. I thought that was actually a very interesting idea for Miles to feel like he has to overtake Peter. He has to fix his legacy and take down these villains. I think that's actually a very interesting idea that I haven't seen presented in a fan film in a very long time. So I actually thought that that was a very interesting idea presented, and I was very happy that they were doing that. However, on the counter side to that, I actually feel like that even though they were presenting a lot of very interesting ideas in this fan film, the pacing just couldn't get out of my head. They went from a very good opening scene to a lot of decent scenes, and then they had to pick up the pacing into another fight scene, and another fight scene, and then end. And I'm going to be honest, that was very awkwardly paced, because that graveyard scene is a very good scene. But it's not like Spider-Man will return. I don't remember that being in the credits. So I feel like it kind of just felt like it ended as if there was going to be a sequel, but this didn't have a full story. I think if you're doing a short film and you complete a full story in that short film and then say, see you in the sequel, I think that's actually perfectly fine. Or ends on a cliffhanger or something. But you can't make a short film without plot that doesn't I feel like what a lot of short films have done lately is start a story and then that's the end of the film. It's a lot of these short films I feel have been first acts. And I don't feel like that's what a short film is. A short film should be a shorter film that is just a very short story with good pacing in that time. That's what this should be. I don't think this should be different from that. That's what this film should have been. And I'm very sad that that wasn't what this was, actually. I was very much hoping that this was going to be a pretty awesome film, but it wasn't. And I feel like the pacing definitely was a huge cause of that. I feel like the pacing kept taking me out of the film. Like, why is this what you're putting your time on in a 10-minute runtime? And there's credits. Like, that also takes away from the 10 minutes. So it's probably like a 9-minute runtime even. And I really liked a lot of what it did, but there were a lot of scenes that I felt like the runtime was just being eaten up, and they didn't execute it so well at the end. The editing, I'm just going to get out of the way. The editing was not great in this. Can't lie about it. I'm sorry. Editing was not great. And I think if you've seen the fan film, you know. I'm not saying it's the worst thing I've seen, because it's not. It's not the worst thing I've seen. But it's not that good either. And I'm going to just say it outright. That was not the best editing. But I think it's a step up. I think it's a starting step. They can move forward. But there's a lot of things that they presented a lot of interesting ideas, and I think that's probably the most important thing when it comes to a decent fan film. If you have good ideas, you can make a better fan film next. You have to just figure out how to present those ideas better. They had very interesting ideas with Miles Morales. They just didn't pace it well, and they didn't tell a full story. They wanted to get from point A to point C, and they kind of skipped over point B. And they didn't have there wasn't really a villain in this. Even, I guess, Miles Morales was the villain. Because there wasn't a villain, there were very few characters, and I feel like it led to there being extremely awkward pacing throughout practically the whole film, and me kind of just being confused, like, what was the point? Like, if this entire film was about Miles learning, because at the beginning of the film, Miles killed, and at the end of the film, Miles killed. So Miles didn't have a character arc. There wasn't really a villain for him to overcome. So I kind of just felt like this was a short look into Miles' life, which I guess isn't bad, but that's not a film. That's not a story. That's a short snippet. And I don't want to watch a story. I want to see a film. And they made so many trailers for this as well. It's clear that they made this, they wanted to make a real story, but I feel like they very much cut down on that story aspect, and they very much focused on how can I make the shortest thing possible without getting character development and stuff. And I feel like that, if they make another film or stuff, I really want to see them expand on that stuff. I really want to see what the best thing they can do is. And I really hope they succeed. So let's go into the 6 points. Directing, I thought was fine. I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it was terrible. Editing. Editing was not great. I'm not going to lie about it. Editing was really not great. There was a swinging scene, though. The swinging scene I actually didn't hate. I didn't think it was great. I didn't hate it. I feel like it was actually some of the best editing in the film. Acting was not, I'd say acting was definitely strong-ish. I feel like some of the actors were fine. I just didn't feel like we got time to actually know the characters. Story was good. I feel like story was actually the strong suit. Even though the pacing wasn't good, which I guess could come into story, I think the actual plot that they were trying to tell about Miles killing, I felt like that was the only bit of plot in the whole film. It was good, and I actually enjoyed that. The choreography was fine. I didn't hate it. And the music, I felt like, was a little awkward at times when it was just cutting abruptly. Like, it didn't really let time for the music to play or fade. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I really don't have so much to say about this fan film, because there isn't, I feel like I used to really, like, go off track on these reviews. I'm really going to try to get to the point on these. I thought this was not great. I mean, like, I really try to not be so harsh during my reviews, but there are some fan films that I kind of just say, there is room for improvement. And I think that sometimes is good to hear, because with Kingpin of Time for me, they were not the kindest reviews. I'm not saying they were mean or anything, but, like, some of the reviews are basically like, you need to do better. And that's how I feel like I grew for Taskmaster Trials. So I really hope that this, whatever comes next for Spider-Man Legacy or whatever in that universe, that it does take some criticism and it does know how to grow from it. And I really hope that this is a pretty awesome universe and whatever comes next. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. See you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.